Well, I need to welcome you back, and we'll see what the big story for today. We're talking about the recent call by SERAP to this very administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do more as it concerns that recent revelation coming from NITI that over 15 billion United States dollars of oil revenue was unaccounted for. And not only that, but almost 200 billion naira that was needed for the rehabilitation of the refinery is still also missing. And a recent call that seems to be gaining a whole lot of ground after that very report from NITI indicating that that huge sum of amount got missing between 20 and 2021. But irrespective of that, we're still looking at the oil sector itself, and not just looking at that, but also looking at what needs to be done to ensure that the difficulties that we seem to be experiencing at the moment is really dealt with the recent report that crude oil price is put at $95 per barrel, and most certainly it will definitely impact on the price of petrol, knowing that the naira to dollar is almost 1,000, if not more, than how it is. But anyway, what it is we're talking about it, and we still have no other person but Dr. Dawene right here with us in the studio. But we need to go on a break now. Well, let's go get a message from our sponsors. And we're talking about Benita Gas, located right here in Ugeli, Warri, and Okokoko. And when we do that, we'll come back and have more discussion centered on the big story for today.
Hey, Willikity, how person want to talk about gas matter? Make Beneta gas plant no sit down for it matter. Gas when we say it dey light and last well. Now Beneta gas plant na filamo. Gas when the full rich mark back. Now Beneta gas plant na filam, and for any type and size of gas cylinder plus all accessories. Now Beneta gas plant na dey touch light up. Now every day now Beneta gas plant they open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. on top refill matters. Oh yeah, make you visit any Beneta gas plant branch. You fit enter inside of Soko up Jakpa Road, opposite UBA for PTI Road F. Nehemiah Junction, near former Army checkpoint for Okwokoko, all 101 Ajami Moga Ekpe Road, Warri, or 145 Ugeli Patani Expressway. By Aviation Junction when carry eye, they look Shikiman and NNPC roundabout for East Soko Road for Sergeant Quarters for Ugeli. For more information, make you call Beneta Gas Plant for 080-6745-7890. Beneta Gas Plant. Na God, they our back.
Anyway, we're happy we're back with it, and we're talking about the big story for today. That one, let's look at that very call as we also look at the oil sector and what seems to be, we're talking about deep-rooted corruption embedded in it. But like I said, we still have Ambassador Dr. Dawene, and I had to put that ambassador in. I enjoy doing that on account of the angle you like looking at things and trying to remain apolitical. That is what I will always respect and like about my guests. I will always ensure that they do not bring politics into all discussion. Let's look at it critically first as Nigerians before the different political divide. But anyway, let's continue with it. Before we went on the break, we looked at that very call by SERAP. But I want us to leave that, but still talk about the oil sector and talk about one that we've spent about 11.34 trillion in rehabilitating the refineries in the last 8 years. And funny enough, that very amount was given to us by the panel, the REP panel that investigated that large span of years of rehabilitation of the refinery with nothing to show for. And that report came out in May from the REP ad hoc committee investigating that very one. But as much as that came out, it also brings us to that recent debate, and the debate on one side indicating that government should totally hands off rehabilitation of the refineries. Many pushed for it, knowing that the removal of the first subsidy was that beginning of government totally putting its hands off the oil sector. And that growing call that government should remove their hands from rehabilitation of the refinery with pure interest of how much corruption is embedded in all of that. I want your view on that. Should government totally hands off from the refineries, rehabilitation, building, or making more refineries, and make it totally private based rather than having public funds being put into it? I want your view. Which side of the divide do you seem to be?
I am on the side of government removing their hands totally, but also supervising.
Or regulating,
regulating. No, regulating. And what was supervising?
Okay.
Supervising is that because it's a sensitive aspect of the country.
Yeah.
You don't leave the private sector to totally handle that, because the private sector is driven on only one thing: profiteering. They don't mind what happens to the system. They exploit profiteering. The way the government angle looks at service to the people.
Social welfare.
Thank God I'm still a student of public administration in Novena University to the jails, postgraduate level. So when you do that, the government will now supervise. You give reports. There's a team that will ensure that the right thing is being done to revitalize the refineries. Because it's only a fool that keeps doing one thing the same time over and over and I expect a different result.
Do you feel that is the reason why this administration have not really talked much about rehabilitating other refineries?
The truth is, this administration is not different from the immediate past administration.
On the issue of refinery?
On the issue of refinery and so many things in Nigeria. Because the people on board now, there is no stranger with Tinubu, working with Tinubu right now. Everybody he has engaged at the upper level. Majority of them have been one thing or the other. Former governors, former ministers, former senators, those have been in power since 1999 till date. Even before 1999, they've been in the system. So it goes back to say that you want to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. It's not possible. So what we expect of him is, like I said the last time, I said it's an opportunity for this man, Bat, to write his name in gold or even diamond, because the country is where it is. But even his attitude is not even showing as if he's ready for it. So let the refineries be handled by private experts to give us what we want.
Are you saying we should, because that's what I feel you are saying, are you saying we totally hands off the refineries? We should pushing it in private hands. Is that not we selling the asset to them?
No, they push this. I'm not talking about selling now. I'm talking about a consortium
rehabilitating it. But that's how it is now.
It has been this arrange paddy thing. Let us have a circle of incorrupt, clean Nigerians. I'm to use that word. Nigerians that you can imagine. Let me give you an example. Pick Femi Falana and make him the head team to rehabilitate Nigerian refineries. Are you following me? Then he should assemble a team of 21 people nationwide. Give out the contracts.
They are the ones to award them.
To award it. Then let's supervise the contractors and get back to the government. In 6 months, we'll have all refineries working at optimum.
So you feel if it's rather in the hands of government
politicians,
it will not go that way.
It will not go that way. Now, so the politicians will always look for a way. I want to ask you a question this morning. You know, you usually ask me.
Yes.
What is ICPC doing? What is EFCC doing? What is DSS doing? Because they are good at. I'm not supporting cybercrime.
Yes.
The cybercrime boy will sit down, crack his head, and hack somebody's account abroad somewhere.
Which is illegal.
Which I condemn. But the energy in which these organs use in pursuing the boys, they should please also include the thieves in the government sector that are dividing over 20 trillion naira over for how many, just about 2-3 years. And I ask you, what about the money missing under Tinubu now? What about the crude oil being stolen under Tinubu now?
Okay, anyway, we'll come to that because it's mere allegations. But I want us now to visit another major one. And what I want us now to visit, because we're going to look at every angle of the oil sector. We've talked about that very revelation from NITI and SERAP. We'll now look at the issue of refinery, which you feel should not be in the hands of government. But let's look at another, and that is subsidy. With all indication,
They're sneaked in already.
There looks as if...
They are paid already.
Yes, subsidy is back. And the reason I say this, now during the weekend, the oil marketers said that the pump price of petrol should naturally be between 890 naira to 900 naira per litre based on the fall of the naira against the dollar and also the increase in price of crude to $95 per barrel. But as it stands, the commodity is being sold between 598 naira to 620 naira per litre, speculating that subsidy may have been reintroduced, but without government and the NNPC officially coming up to admit it. Now, do you feel that that's the case at the moment? And do you see the federal government doing so in putting subsidy in the coming months? Because why I said so, also the oil marketers during the weekend said the federal government will spend about 1.68 trillion naira between September and December in dealing with the issue of subsidy. Do you believe subsidy is back?
Not that I feel subsidy is back from the back door. I use the word through the back door. You don't put the cat before the donkey. I want to use it's donkey that carries cats.
Okay.
Or horse, what I want to do. Because donkeys are stronger than horses. Now, you don't put let me borrow your life. You don't put the cat before the horse. You put the horse on the front. Then you attach the cat to it so that the horse can pull and carry the cat and this luggage inside to your destination for use, for human use, for equality living. Now, Emilio
I rather prefer if you call him Mr. President. Let's give him that.
Okay. President Bat came in an inaugural speech. Subsidy is gone. And immediately, that's what plunged us to where we are today. That's what brought palliative that we're still struggling with it today. That's what brought the hunger, the hardship ever in the history of Nigeria was till now. Now, I kept saying here that before you renovate a house, before you bring policies to revamp a system, you must study in total. Dot the I's, cross the T's, look at the short-term, medium-term, and long-term possibilities of remediation. This time around, he came in here. Now, you see that the tactics of the president has failed because he really envisaged, one, change the crude oil production in Nigeria. Two, we cannot even fulfill our OPEC demand right now, quota. Three, that the price of crude is going up due to global influences and happenings around the world. Forgetting that we're living in a global village where if one country sneezes, it affects Nigeria. Now, having said so, because even took it to get his team in place to do all this planning. Having said so, subsidy is back through the back door. The question I ask you now, what do we do from here? Because the money realized from the subsidy removal, we don't know how it's being used. We only know that they're giving 5 billion naira to state for palliative, and they've just sent 2 billion, not 5 billion. Make your findings. The day I came here, the other time about said 5 billion have been sent, and it was 2 billion. Delta had to release 10 billion out of their state covers to start the palliative thing. So that's by the way. So you can imagine this is whereby subsidy is back. That thing he said subsidy is gone from day one. He has shot his foot by himself. Because you would have just put all these things into check, manage it, and study. So when you come out with a policy, it stands.
So, but let's try and get this. You feel the timing was wrong, but the removal was right.
The removal was perfectly okay. It's a thing we are clamoring for. But the timing was wrong, and that's why TUC, and that's why NLC, and that's why organized labor is telling you that you don't do this that way. Relax, study the environment, and strike. When you not strike, you hit your target, everybody will be happy. So the subsidy removal, I am not a fan of subsidy. But like I said, all we needed to do was really have a well
thought out plan
to crafted out to see this enemy of Nigeria's economy. What do? You gradually phase it out. You can't build a structure that you want to live in.
But do you feel it's the right thing now to at least subsidize a certain part of it? Because if the subsidy is not there, in all honesty, we might be paying 900 naira per litre.
Let me tell you.
So would the government not think that out and know the resultant effect of having that?
Let me answer you now. The number one concern of every government in the world, a normal government now, is the welfare of the people, the security of the people. Now, if I just told you that people, as I'm sitting here now, I said I talked to somebody this morning, I told you here this morning, people that are doing well before, their businesses are crashing. If you see the hunger, I told that President Tinubu's friend to come to Ugeli where we live. Let me just take you around my area and see people that have not eaten this morning. You will weep, go back there. Children are at home, they don't go to school. You will cry. And they have enough. You cannot be using saliva to wash your face in the midst of an ocean where you are seated up on top. That's by the way. If something is not introduced now, you and I were not safe. Because if we buy the petrol for 1,000 naira now, ask yourself, how much will you pay from here to Warri? How much will you pay from here to Asaba? How much will they now sell a bag of rice? How much will they sell tomatoes in the market? How much will they sell gari in the market? If, as at now, we're buying it for 610, 650 thereabout, we are where we are. The government has to just show responsibility now.
And that's why you felt they brought it.
And the justice has to come either by hook or by crook,
provided
the fuel amount does not go up immediately again. If not,
it is not by crook. I will tell you we need to go on a break now.
No, it's not. It's by through the back door. Is by if you like.
No, I'm not going through the back door.
I know.
To tell you we need to go on a break
because you are scared of MBC.
No,
right?
we need to go on a break because of the time. We need to
I'm a Nigerian.
Our adverts and pay for commercials. When we come back, we continue our discussion with no other person but Dr. Okay, down there, as we look at the corruption embedded in the oil sector. Let's go on a break.